Hello, everyone. This is episode 1 of my new podcast series on YouTube. My name is Ocean, and today I'll be introducing this whole idea and what I may be talking about. Each episode will have a different character cover depending on what we'll be discussing. As you all know, I really love Percy Jackson, and those are my main edits. But today's character cover isn't, in fact, Percy Jackson. It's Donatello from the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series on Netflix, but sadly, only the first 2 seasons are featured. Continuing to go off this, I may sometimes go off script or even do the stupidest things like fall out of my chair. The reason I won't cut funny things like that out is because I want to hopefully give a laugh to the audience. Now we can get into the actual discussion of the day. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Donatello. I chose this topic to start because I thought it was creative and random. Of course, you all know that's who I am, so it felt perfect. You're all probably wondering, why are we starting with Donnie? Well, Donnie's my favorite of all the turtles. I love them all, I really do, but Donatello tops them all off. So, why did I choose Donnie as our first topic again? Oh yeah, he's my favorite version of Donnie, and the dorkiest as well. At least, in my opinion. So let's start with a little fun fact. In the 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, aka the original version of the show that started all the reboots of it, like the 2012 Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and even Mutant Mayhem, yes, inspired all of that, Raphael in 1987 is voiced by Rob Paulsen. The name might sound familiar. Just keep listening. Raphael we know is the hot-headed, red-clad turtle that you all and I also love. Now, in the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot of the 1987 version, Raphael is actually voiced by Sean Astin, who did an amazing job, fantastic, and was basically one of the best Raphael voices I know. But, as well, in 2012, Donatello, as some of you may know, is also voiced by Rob Paulsen, who, as I mentioned before, voiced Raphael. I think it's a fun fact because it's basically, Rob Paulsen voiced the Raphael, and Raphael, we know, in 2012, likes to tease Donatello and make fun of his brothers and has a really bad temper. But Donatello was normally on the receiving end of that, so it's kind of nice to know, or kind of funny to know, in a sense that, Donatello was voiced by Rob Paulsen, who voices Raphael in the 1987 version. Kind of a fun fact, and I found it pretty cool. If you have any other fun facts of your own for any character at any time, please let me know in the comments, and I will read them and hope to include them at some point in an episode. Now let's focus on Donnie. Donatello, as we know, is the smartest of the 4 turtles and second youngest, with the youngest being Michelangelo. Donnie also falls in love with April O'Neil, at least in the 2012 reboot. And while some may have their opinions about him being a creep to her from the start, my personal opinion is that he is just a teenage mutant turtle. Teenage mutant turtle. And I don't think he's ever really had a crush on anyone else, considering April's the first human he's ever met. Sure, at some points he does seem a bit awkward, or in other terms, quote-unquote creepy. I don't really think Donatello's a creep. I think he's just an awkward, dorky guy. But most of the time, Donnie really just wants to be around her or to really help her. And I think that, to viewers, April kind of makes it seem like he's being creepy because she plays his feelings and makes him look like he's kind of, quote-unquote, yandere obsessed with her. With all that said, opinions are opinions, and I'm not going to judge anyone for having theirs. This is just my opinion, and personally, I don't want any judgment on it either. Can we all consider the fact that Donatello also isn't always supported by his brothers? Mind you that they teased him relentlessly for getting beat up by a lab monkey in a certain episode, or for having a crush on April. And Casey joins in on this too a little bit. So he doesn't really have anyone to lean on for his own support, I think, other than his fans, who he doesn't really know exist because he's a cartoon character. Plus, he gets a lot of stress from all the missions and gadgets Leo plans and requires to stop the Krang and to stop Shredder. As much as Donnie wants to stop the bad guys, I think that he's also under a lot of stress because everyone pretty much leans on him and relies on him to make the gadgets and retro mutagen that can save New York from world domination or city domination or whatever you want to call it. So there's that as well. But bouncing off of that, I think Leo, Raph, and Mikey could all ease up a little and start solving their own problems instead of relying on Donatello all the time. I'm going to quote Donatello. Does anyone remember the episode where Donatello practically yells at Leo, I always have to find the solution? Yeah, I don't remember the title, but I do remember seeing that in another video at some point when I was writing something and I listen to things while I write. I heard that and I'm like, he's under a lot of pressure, isn't he? So I wanted to share that with you all because I think it really relates to possible anxiety and possible stress issues. So in conclusion to that part, I think that the Turtles, April and Casey, could all start solving their own problems and ease up on Donnie a little. Moving on, another reason 2012 Donnie is my favorite version of Donnie is because I never really watched the 1987 version, the live actions, but they are on my list to watch, or Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In fact, I watched Mutant Mayhem, and now I am scarred for life. The animations in Mutant Mayhem were decent enough to make it animated, but I'm sure the animators are extremely talented. The voice actors were quite amazing. I don't really remember the movie because I refused to rewatch it. Everyone who created the movie had a lot of talent, and I'm not criticizing them. I'm criticizing the plot and subtle details because I did not like it at all, and I'm one of those fans who's like, burn it to the ground. Mic problems. They really, the plot really grossed me out, and subtle details such as April puking on screen in front of thousands of people, Leo getting a crush on April and trying to flirt with her, Donatello having glasses, which I guess seems a bit canon, but I wasn't used to the idea, so I didn't get behind it. But I think the biggest part of Mutant Mayhem that grossed me out was, in fact, the Splinter love story. Why would you add that? Whoever created Mutant Mayhem, why on earth, why in the deep dark sewers would you add a Splinter love story? Like, no, thank you. I don't want that. I never wanted it. I would like Splinter to stay Splinter and not have disgustingness with some random mutant who I don't even think can talk. Some people may like that, and that's totally fine, but I'm one of those fans, one of those people who is like, no, just no. So continuing comparison and moving on from Mutant Mayhem, let's compare 2012 to Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Donatellos, which won't be as easy as I wish it was because I haven't watched the Rise version of them. I have seen edits and stuff like that, but I have not watched it for myself, so I'm just going to go off what I know and what I have heard. So if I get wrong information, please don't hate on me for that because I really am sorry in advance for that. Now, the two biggest differences between these Donatellos, in my opinion, are the personalities and their strengths such as chemistry, Donatello, and technology, also Donatello. In Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Donatello is a soft shell turtle, so he created his own shell as well as his own titanium weapon staff. You guys know what I mean, okay? And I have not seen anything relating to chemistry for Rise Donatello. So, in that conclusion to me means that the Rise Donnie has no experience with chemicals of any kind other than the mutagen that mutated him. And he doesn't even really know what that is either. While that all happens, our 2012 Donatello is a chemist and likes to study chemistry notes, mess with chemicals, and, as we know, brew hefty batches of antidotes and retromutagens. Of course, he had a lot of help on the antidotes and retromutagens with Mikey, but ignoring all that, because Mikey's not yet. We're not talking about Mikey yet. Trust me, that's going to be a fun one. But that's like episode 3. Anyway, have any of you seen Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Even if you haven't, you all definitely should. It's extremely comedic and highlights both DC and Nickelodeon characters very, very well. Especially if you like DC characters such as Batman, Batgirl, Robin, Harley Quinn, or the Joker, and TMNT. It's definitely the movie for you. Enough advertising though. 2012 Donatello, in my opinion, of course, deserved much better than April. April played on his feelings and wasn't respectful about mutants, considering Donnie was run. As I previously mentioned, Donnie wasn't intentionally trying to act as a creep towards her. My main thought on this is because the Turtles don't really have a good social environment, so they didn't exactly know how do I say this, handle new emotions such as crushes or things like socializing, talking to humans, interacting with people their age. They've only ever lived in the sewers with their only parental figure being a rat who used to be human and live in Japan, whose lover died and daughter quote unquote died, and has an enemy named the Shredder who winds up doing crazy stuff to himself. So there's all that too. We can't forget all their poor trauma, like those poor things. And unlike in Mutant Mayhem, these turtles, like this version of the Turtles, doesn't end up going to high school like the Mutant Mayhem ones do. I also think that little detail in Mutant Mayhem was totally unnecessary and all forgot the point of you're an outsider and humans and mutants, well, they're humans and mutants. That's just the main reasons I think that Donnie might have come off as slightly creepy, because he had no previous experiences, and I have seen many April Slender videos on YouTube, and I think they're actually really funny, but also I really wish that version of April was written better, because until then I didn't really notice all that stuff about her. I mean, yes, she was a bit of a jerk. She didn't really respect mutants until she got her karma of figuring out she's half mutant, courtesy of Donnie telling her that. But why are we talking about O'Neill when Donnie is obviously better? Now, that's going to be all for today, since we've talked about Donnie a whole lot, and I could go on for hours about him, but I do not have hours. I am going to finish off the other Turtle Brothers to get this podcast started, since I don't know if this first episode is going to get a lot of comments. So, but talking back to comments, that sounded so weird, I'm so sorry. Anyway, I do take votes on what other characters I should do. I'm going to put polls after each podcast episode, community posts to let you all know what character I'm doing next, and I need a more solid script for my future episodes. I want at least the next episode 2, episode 3, and episode 4 done before I figure out what next character I'm doing, because I have no idea what I should do next. Bouncing off of that, I don't have the most amazing equipment, And by that I mean I am using a karaoke microphone, tripod stand to hold up my script that's on my phone, and a laptop to record all this while having headphones hooked up to the karaoke microphone so I can hear myself talk. It's like probably the most noob and basic setup a girl could have, or any person could have, but it's working, so I'm just gonna stick with it. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with this until I got better stuff to use. And by that I mean if you know of any like cheap equipment that actually works, please let me know in the comments, because I basically broke because I buy too many books. But little fun part about all this is that the most voted character after each episode that I find in the comments or in my polls or anything like that will be featured in the next episodes after the turtles, of course, because if you're gonna do one turtle, you gotta finish the whole package. Little warning, the order is gonna be a bit crazy for the turtles because it's going in order from my favorite turtle to like the turtle I don't connect with the most, which is Raphael. I don't have anger issues, so I didn't really connect with him much, though he's a really awesome character. You could take it as a save the best for last, but yeah. Again, most voted character or like most liked character in the comments will be featured in an episode at some point. Does that mean it's gonna be the next episode or anything? But if I don't know the character, like say you list me a character from Has Been Hotel, I'm not gonna know that, so it would also really help me if you guys would tell me a character and tell me what it's from so I knew where to find it. And if it's Has Been Hotel, I can't do it, I don't know it, and I'm way too busy to like watch it enough to research the character. I have gotten into My Hero Academia, so I can't do any characters from that because I'm only on episode 2 of season 1. But anything else I'm sure I could do. I watch way too many movies and way too many shows. I'm not going to only stick to cartoon characters, but live action characters as well. So, for example, if you wanted me to talk about John Lawrence from the musical Hamilton, I will talk about John Lawrence from the Hamilton musical. If you want me to talk about Percy Jackson, the Walker Scobell version, I will talk about it for you. Just let me know what character, what it's from, and if it's a movie or a show, so I can find it easier. That would really help me. And again, comment what character you guys want after the turtles. Thank you so much for listening. It means a whole lot. And I will see you guys in my Leonardo episode as soon as I can. The episodes are going to be really not even in posting. Some might be 2 in a day. Some might be 1 week and then like 2 weeks later. I am extremely busy, so I don't know when the Leonardo episode is going to come out. But fingers crossed it's going to come out soon. And keeping your fingers crossed, let's hope I can get this podcast set up to Spotify. All right. Bye, guys.